Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, then my name is Demi. If you're not, then welcome back. I'm just going to say this now before I start, but I may record this video over the course of 2 days maybe, so I might be sat here wearing this t-shirt now, but then the rest of the video might be wearing something different. I just wanted to kind of share my experience at an inpatient unit slash ward slash hospital. For a lot of people out there who may be struggling, who may know that they're going to go into inpatient, I think it would be really helpful for somebody to know kind of what to expect. I know that I didn't have a clue when I went, but my circumstance was very different. I didn't choose to go. I didn't know that I was going. I had no choice to go but to go. Well, I did have a choice, but if I didn't go, then the police would have been knocking on my door. So I think it's not funny, but I have to kind of make a joke about it. Well, not make a joke, but see a bit of light and a bit of humour in it, because at the end of the day, if I don't, then I'll just cry about everything. So it gets me through being a bit positive and a bit humorous about things to a point. Anyway, from my perspective, I was put on a section. So that a section 2 essentially means that you have to go into hospital and it's not your choice. Obviously, unless you go against that or refuse to go, then obviously the police would be involved. A section 2 essentially is up to 28 days that they can detain you and keep you in hospital. There is also a section 3, which is, I believe, up to 3 months that they can detain you, but I was only on a section 2, so that was 28 days. That was the only amount of time that I spent inpatient. I stuck to the plan and I just basically completed my meal plan, engaged in the treatment. Didn't have any grounds to keep me there any longer. However, they did advise me to stay longer, but I took it upon myself to discharge myself against medical advice to continue recovery at home, because of course I am not recovered yet. I felt that it would be better for me to do that at home, and that is not the anorexia brain talking, that is coming from me, because I felt that the inpatient setting was very restricted and very rigid. I mean, obviously it has to be that way, but in terms of food freedom and what time you can eat, etc., I felt very restricted with that, and I felt that that didn't help me to overcome things and kind of send that signal to my brain that food was abundant. I've gone off on a tangent now. I'm gonna try and keep this really structured so that I'm just not waffling, she says. Anyway, what would usually happen when you go to inpatient is you would usually go there at around midday. You would meet with all of the team, meet with the doctor, meet with the consultant, meet with the dietitian, just basically meet everybody in the hospital that you're going to be dealing with. And then obviously you'll get a tour of the hospital, you'll get shown to your bedroom, you will discuss your meal plan and choose what food you're going to eat from the menus, and that is what should happen. For me, it was a very different story. I arrived at the inpatient unit at 10 o'clock at night. The consultant wasn't there, nobody was there, I didn't meet anybody, I was just shown my bedroom. I got there at really late at night because of the section, and they said that if I didn't go there then they would take further action basically. So yeah, I had to rush down there after probably like the worst one of the worst days of my life. What happened to me was very different to what essentially somebody that goes to inpatient informally, which is what would usually happen, because not everybody will get sectioned, but for me it just reached the point where my community team just kind of decided that upon me. So yeah, that is basically what happens. You'll meet everybody, you'll get shown around the hospital. When you take all of your things there as well, everything has to be looked through. So they'll look for sharp objects, anything that you shouldn't have, like food or just anything really that you shouldn't have. You can take your phone, you can have a laptop, you can take anything like that really, that is absolutely fine. They will go through your stuff, so just bear that in mind. I'll go through now the meal times. I'm guessing that most inpatient places may be a little bit different. Where I was at, the meal times were 8:30 to 9 was breakfast, 10:30 to 10:45 was morning snack, 12:30 to 1 was lunch, but I say dinner, so that confused everybody. Afternoon snack was 3:45 until 4 p.m. Dinner, but I say tea, was 5:30 until 6 p.m. And then in the evening you would have what they call supper, which was at 8:45 until 9. So you had 15 minutes for snacks and 30 minutes for main meal. So that was like your meal time. So that was like the same every day. You'd be eating at the same time every day. In the beginning for me, I found myself really hungry even after eating what the meal plan was, and this is where I felt really restricted. Obviously I could have asked and I could have said something about it, but in that place you already feel out of your depth, you already feel out of your comfort zone. My advice would be, if you do have them feelings, say something. Like, I should have said something, but I didn't, because I was just so uncomfortable really. But yeah, that was in the beginning, and I think that's because the extreme hunger really kicked in big time. And then after the meal plan increase, I found myself really full and really uncomfortable still. You've just got to embrace them feelings. I've just got a piece of paper here with what I would eat on a typical day inpatient, just to give you a bit of an idea of what it's like. So for breakfast every morning I had 60 grams of oats and 200 millilitres of semi-skimmed milk, and then honey, and that was every day, and I had that every single day for 4 weeks. For my morning snack I had 2 Weetabix, 200 mils of semi-skimmed milk and 1 banana. So for dinner there was like a set menu that you could choose from. It was, yeah, I found it really difficult, to be fair, because you had to choose what you ate 4 weeks in advance. So you would choose from menu 1, menu 2, menu 3, menu 4, and you had to choose your dinner and your tea from this menu for the next of the 4 weeks, which I found really difficult and really restricted, because in a normal day, in a normal life, you wouldn't choose what you're gonna eat 4 weeks in advance. So like one day I would wake up and I'd think, oh god, I chose that, but I don't fancy that today. But you would just have to have it. You couldn't change it. And it was really restricted. And if you asked to change something, I got shouted at one day for asking to change. And I was like, I literally burst into tears crying because I just asked, can I change what I'm having for my dinner? And the kitchen staff were like, no, can't do that. So that straight away was just, I couldn't get my head around it. And not every inpatient unit is going to be like that, but this was just my experience. Something else as well, they would have the big hot meal in the middle of the day, and then in the evening you would have like a sandwich or a bagel. My afternoon snack was a Nature Valley bar. For your dinner / tea, it was either a sandwich or a bagel. They would come with like turkey salad, chicken salad, cheese, cucumber, cheese, tomato, peanut butter and jam. That would literally come in a box, not even pre-made. They would just put 2 pieces of bread in a box, the filling wrapped up in cling film, the butter on the side, and then you would just make it yourself kind of thing. I'll insert some pictures as well of like what I'm talking about. And then for supper I had 30 grams of mixed nuts. That's basically like the meal times and the menu and how that works. But that was how it worked for me in the hospital that I was at. I know that a lot of different hospitals probably have a different way of doing things. Some may be better, some may be worse. So yeah, but that's just a generic idea. She's back. It's a different day. I did say at the beginning that this would happen, so yeah, I am back now. It is a different day. If you're wondering what this is It's a big massive hot water bottle because it is absolutely freezing in the UK at the moment. I really don't deal with the winter very good. I'm definitely a summer girl. Anyway, let's get back to the video. So the next thing I want to talk about is your meal plan increases. So this will happen every week. It will get reviewed and it can be really scary and it's not very nice. I'll be honest, it really isn't, because you're already feeling uncomfortable. You're already in an environment that you don't want to be in. You're already eating food that you're absolutely terrified of. You're already eating food that you don't really like or necessarily want. It is very difficult. You will have meal plan reviews every single week. This all depends on how your weight is restoring. If you are restoring weight from your meal plan, it will usually stay the same, and then the following week, if it continues to increase, it will stay the same. But then if your weight kind of plateaus and stays at like a baseline level, then that means that your body has kind of got used to the food that it's being given, and then you will then be required to increase your meal plan even further to make sure that your weight is going on the right path. I know that this is absolutely terrifying and it's one of the worst things that you will ever go through, but you have to remind yourself that it is what needs to happen. And you just have to keep reminding yourself that it's not about the weight gain, it's about being healthy again, having a working body, having a working heart. Because I know that it reached a point for me where I was extremely worried about my organs, because I exercised a lot as well. Not everybody suffers with exercise addiction or extreme excessive movement in anorexia, but for me the exercise was like a major drive for me. That did have an impact on my heart, but it's a lot healthier now, and that just shows that you really can do it and you really can recover. I'm not saying I'm recovered, but I'm seeing the positives of what I've already done, the effect that that's had so far. So yes, stick with it. I've gone off on a tangent again. If you do have any other questions about that, then let me know in the comments as well. And next thing I'm going to talk about is your like bedroom where you sleep. You do have your own bedroom. I was lucky to be in a facility where I also had my own bathroom as well. The room was actually really big, like massive. I'm extremely grateful and extremely lucky to have been able to go into Inpatient, because I know that it was what I needed and it was the kick that I needed. A lot of people don't have this much support. I'm honestly extremely grateful that I was able to have this care. Not saying that I agree with the way that things were done or the way that things are handled in them settings, because I definitely do not agree with that. But not all aspects anyway, but I am so lucky to have had that care. Back to the rooms. Yeah, you will get your own room, and mostly you will also get your own bathroom. I think I've got a little picture anyway, so I will just put one on the screen. Obviously when you go into Inpatient, there's obviously other people there that are going through the same or similar things to you. Where I was at, there was people aged from 13 to 25. I'm 23, so I was the eldest there. I felt really old, and I think that really did give me another kick that I needed. I really kind of realised that I've lost so much time of my 20s already. It kind of really scared me and shook me up a bit and made me realise, oh my god, I cannot live my life this way. But yeah, obviously there's other people there and you can make friends with them, and they are honestly the most loveliest people. So if you are going into Inpatient, just make sure that you do socialize as much as you can. Obviously you don't have to, but it really does help, and everybody really does understand you. And I think for the first time ever, I've actually spoke to a group of girls who really can understand what I was going through, and I could understand what they were going through, and it was really beneficial for me to have them kind of people around me where we could all talk and support each other. So that was really nice, to be fair, and people I met were so lovely, and I'm so lucky that I was placed where there was some really nice people. It's making me feel emotional. I've got so emotional. It can be a challenging environment as well, because obviously there is people who may have a really bad day, and then you will obviously witness that. It is really tough, to be fair, the environment, so that's just something to be aware of. Obviously everybody is at different parts and different stages of their recovery, so that is also quite confusing when you first go, because you might just be arriving at the hospital and then somebody could be discharged a week later. But then it's nice as well because you can kind of look up to them and see that they've got through it and that they are recovering, and it does give you motivation and hope as well. I don't know what else I can cover without talking too much and boring everybody, but if you have any like real specific questions or just anything really, please let me know. I really just want to talk about my experience and just hope that it can help other people and make other people feel less alone. I know that before I went into inpatient, I just felt like I was the only person living in the world. I felt like I didn't have anyone to talk to or anyone to turn to. I felt like nobody could really understand me. But that was also because I was so malnourished that I couldn't really see past anything. I was just trapped in this little circle in my mind. And obviously now I am refueling and restoring the weight that I lost. I'm seeing the effects of that and the positive side of that. At the moment, I am still seeing my community team weekly. I have to have weekly blood tests, weekly weigh-in, weekly OBS. I hope you enjoyed watching. If you would like to see any other videos, let me know. And if you did enjoy watching, please give me a like. Don't forget to subscribe either. That's all for now. I'll see you in the next video. Send in lots of love and stay strong. You can do it. Bye.